My lesson was for 6th grade social studies. My standard was H.13.6.5, which was compare characteristics, contributions, and achievements of early River Valley civilizations. Using this standard, I created a lesson that was titled Comparing and Contrasting Ancient Civilizations. The objective that I used was that by the end of the lesson, the students will be able to identify characteristics, contributions, and achievements of early River Valley civilizations with 100% accuracy by completing the web quest and presentations within their groups. This lesson does have group work, so that is important, and it was also important that I included the objective about working in groups, so I included that. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to work in groups to complete the assignment by receiving 100% accuracy in the section of working together by staying on task when completing the assignments. So, a little background before we would do this lesson. We would have already covered the ancient civilizations that they will be comparing and contrasting, which was 3 of them. And so they will already know basic knowledge about them, just not super in depth with looking at them compared to the other ones. So to start off, I just want to do an overview of the activity using the web quest. That is what they're going to use to find the information needed while completing the lesson. So I want to go over how to use that. I also want to play a short video clip from about each civilization. I don't want to include a whole lot of the interesting facts. I want them to choose this over what they think they want to do it on before they learn all the cool facts, to kind of see, like, was this as interesting as I thought it was going to be or not. So I will have 3 boards up in the classroom, or I will just have 3 different sections on the whiteboard. And as they decide what they want, they will go write their name under that civilization. So we might have a lot under 1, or we might just have 2 over here. So that way they have the freedom to choose what they're going to do their presentation on. For the mini lesson, I'm going to cover the comparing and contrasting of the different civilizations very fast. This will only take up about 5 minutes of the lesson, so I will do a mini lesson over each one as a quick review. So during this time, I'm either going to read them some interesting facts and we're going to match them to that civilization, or we are going to play a Kahoot game. So if we play a Kahoot game, it's just like a short review to make sure that they are ready to compare and contrast their early river civilizations. So after I do my short lesson, I'm going to let them help me come up with a rubric for them. So I feel like it will help them if they come up with their own expectations. So I want it to go along with what kind of language did you speak? Where did you live in ancient time? What was it called? What is that now in present day? I want them to be specific about their daily life. What did you sleep in? What was the dominant religion in your early civilization? Was there any kind of educational system? And then I want them to include 2 fun facts, anything they want about their early civilization. So that's the guidelines that I have created. Obviously, whatever we come up with, I will guide them as I see fit, and if they have some great ideas, I will use those too. So what they are going to do is start working with one partner. You remember, I had them put their name up. So it is very likely that there could be 10 students in one group, which is perfectly fine. There will be 5 groups of 2 within that civilization. I did this so I can act as a facilitator throughout the lesson and them not have to come to me. I want them to do their learning during this time since they have already learned about these civilizations. My goal is that I can act as a facilitator within the classroom and promote scaffolding by them working with their partner. Then if they need further help, they can ask the other partner groups within their civilization area. Then, if they still need help, I will be there to assist them, but I want them to take those steps to try to scaffold and learn with each other. After creating the expectations, the students will begin their web quest. In the web quest, there is a section for each civilization with videos and information links that they can go to. They will use this along with their own Google research on trusted websites, which I want to make very, very important to them. At this age, they are getting into research papers and stuff like that for the first time. So it's important for them to realize that not everything on Google should be a cited source. They should use Google Scholar or maybe some peer-reviewed journals of such. So, once they start for their presentation on comparing and contrasting, they have free range. They can do a PowerPoint, they can make a poster, whatever they can do and get done to present the next day, they can do. As long as they meet the expectations created, I gave them free range on how to present it to promote that creativity in the students. So, I included the steps within the inquiry arc to kind of integrate it into the lesson. So they will choose their civilization and kind of based on observations. Whenever they make their predictions in step 2, they will use their past lessons to kind of make predictions on the expectations needed. So they might already know this information. They might know that in ancient Rome, they had this dominant religion. But if not, they're just going to make predictions on that. Then they will collect their data, which is their research for their presentation. And then they will make claims and draw conclusions. And then they will communicate those findings during their presentation. For independent practice, this falls in their presentation. Although they will be up there with a partner, they're still going to be graded on how they present their information. If they are very shy, don't make eye contact, they're not going to receive full points. So they have to be engaged, help their partner actually speak. I want everyone involved in speaking in front of the class, and they need to project their voice, make eye contact with their peers. The closure will be after presentations. I do not think that we can fit this in one day. I feel like they need time to be creative and work on their presentation. So, ideal, work on it, work on do the presentations the next day, and then close the lesson out. With the closure, we're going to have conferences, one-on-one with the students. So I love this. I will just call them to the back of the classroom. They will have written a reflection for me after they present. We will go over their reflection of what they think they did good, what they think they could improve on. We will discuss that, and I will reveal to them their grade. I want to see if we can come up with the same and then talk about that. I want the students to start realizing how they can fix and gain more points without me having to tell them all the time. They are in 6th grade, so I'm expecting more of them. The teacher will communicate the results from assessing them during this time. There is modifications that will be done during this lesson. I will give an example of a few. For the student with a hearing impairment that wears a hearing aid, I will make sure that the student's hearing aid is turned on and working properly. I will make sure that this student is able to hear his or her partner during the lesson. If needed, I can move this partner group to a different section of the room to where they can speak louder to their partner if needed. Another modification that will be present during this lesson is for a student who is extremely shy. This student will be watched during the lesson and observed. I will observe them, be there if needed, but I'm not going to do everything for them. I will make sure that they are able to work with their partner despite their shyness. If they are unable to, I will work with the student and I will speak to the student on how I can help them complete this project. At the end, the students will all be able to complete a presentation and use characteristics describing the early river civilization of their choice. Technology will be integrated because they will use their laptop to do their web quest and maybe even the presentation. So the classroom set of laptops will be integrated with the technology. For the assessment, they will be assessed formatively and summatively. For the formative assessment, this will be while they work on completing their presentations. I will have a checklist and it will ask questions such as, are they staying on task? Did the student help their partner? Did the student stay engaged? I want to make sure that they are not getting off task and they are staying engaged helping their partner. For the summative assessment will come while I watch them during their presentation. It will ensure that they hit all of the expectations as well as the presentation qualities, such as making the eye contact, speaking loudly. I'm scrolling on my lesson plan. So, another of my favorite parts of this lesson is the communication I'm going to have with the parents and guardians. I will send a note home to the parents, which is attached on my lesson plan, to explain the lesson that was done that day. I will explain that the next day after presentations, I will be having a meeting with their child to discuss how they do during presentations. I will email the copy once I have their grades to the parents, but I'm just kind of filling them in on what we are doing. I want to encourage involvement also. So on the parent note, the bottom half is optional, but I want the students to prepare for their presentation and they can present it to their parents as homework. So the parents have a little sheet to fill out and they can turn it back into me and I can grade it just for fun. I'm not going to put it in the grade book, but it can be a great way to get the parents involved and get the students excited for learning. All in all, I really like this lesson. There is some parts that I feel I should make sure I could improve. For one way to improve this lesson, I could make sure that the students understand the facts already presented before doing this by doing a short assessment over the civilizations. It would be super important not to rush into this. I feel that it would be hard on them to compare these with each other during the presentations if they are just now learning this information for the first time. My favorite part, like I said, was the parent involvement. I think it's great for parents to get involved. Obviously, not all parents would do this, but some would, and I feel like it would be very helpful. All in all, this lesson was fun to create. 6th grade was a little difficult for me just because my mindset is definitely lower elementary. But as I worked through it, I really had a lot of fun, and I feel like it very much helped me grow as a teacher. Thank you.